Anyone here? Or have I totally screwed this up? View in the watch page. Let's try this.
Hello, thanks for signing up and welcome to vidIQ, where we're passionate about helping you get more video views.
There we go. We got somebody here. Big what's up to the Try Guy who's killing it on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked out the Try Guy's channel, he's got a really fast growing triathlon channel. Shoot the link into here, man, so everyone can see it. What do you got? Just over 700 subscribers, somewhere around there. We actually did a collaboration video February this year. So he is the dude that's in the brick workout video. So we got some questions for everyone. How do you plan your training? Do you plan progression? I plan my training over the course of the year in stages. And in Canada, our season goes until about September. And then after then, there might be a few running races or some cyclocross races, but after that point, there's not a lot of triathlons after late August. So our off season starts kind of mid-September, and it usually goes until about mid-November. And in that time, kind of going just low, unstructured volume, just getting in the workouts, but not really focusing on anything in particular, maybe a little bit of technique workout. And then starting December until January, February, we start building the volume, specifically with strength, technique. And then after that point, we start increasing the intensity. And by May, we start getting into race season. So we plan it around there with peaks and valleys that we go up for 2 weeks and then rest for a week after that. How do you stay injury-free? I don't stay injury-free. I probably get injured about twice every year. Last year it was a shoulder injury, and then I've got some hamstring issues that crop up quite a bit. I go to a place called Pure Lifestyle in Winnipeg, and they are a physiotherapist, massage, acupuncture, and a gym attached to it, and they've helped me come back from injury fairly quickly. And what I do is I go to them. When I do have something crop up, they fix it. I keep with those exercises that they recommend until I think my body becomes strong enough to not get injured with that injury anymore. And then it tends to go away. I don't tend to have chronic injuries that come back a lot. How have you been training for triathlon and running in general? You're fast. In general, that's a big question, big nasty question. I started training for triathlon about 6 years ago. I started out very not fast. I was about a 3-hour Olympic distance triathlete, which was really slow. I did a 1:53 half marathon in my first half marathon. It really didn't go well. I just kept pushing myself. So every time I went for a run or went for a bike, I noted how fast I was going, how long I was going, and just incrementally built off of that and tried to address injuries before they crept up so that I could stay consistent. Tried to train just about every day, and incrementally over 6 years, I just got a little bit faster. So when people say like, oh, you do triathlons, I couldn't do that. I believe that anyone can do them because I started out at 215 pounds. And for me to go from 215 pounds and a super duper slow triathlete to, like, some people would say that I'm fast. I think that anyone can do it. What else? What can I expect a 10K? Getting messages coming in, so hopefully I'm not screwing this up. No, all good. What can I expect a 10K run at 5-minute pace? How much training is required for that? I don't know. Depends on where you're starting from, how fast you are naturally. No set answer. Go by however your body's letting you train. Do I ever use a home training bike, and how do you tailor your training to it? Yes, I live in Winnipeg and we have about 4 or 5 months a year that we can't actually go outside. So I use a trainer a lot. I use the Kinetic Rock and Roll trainer, and it's not bad, it's not great, it's not life-alteringly similar to being out on the road. It's still being on a trainer, which sucks. But I tend to get saddle sores a lot, especially on a trainer where you don't have any movement side to side. So I use that rock and roll to take the edge off of that. And I build my training around that in the winter, in the off season, I'm focusing mostly on low intensity, long volume stuff. And that's a really good time to do it. Do really low heart rate, like 65% of your FTP number kind of power, and you build that long endurance training where your blood vessels, your mitochondria are all getting used to going for 3-4 hour rides. So you got to spend a lot of time on the trainer in the winter. What else? Do I watch any other sports? Believe it or not, I actually used to be a professional curler, so I watch a lot of curling. What else? I'll watch football. Football's a big thing in our family. My wife is actually the lady that goes on the Jumbotron during the games in our professional football team, which is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and they're actually winning right now, so that's exciting for her. It's been a lot of years since they've won. Yeah, I don't play a ton of other sports anymore, but I'll watch pretty much anything. Do I have any other interests? Yeah, lots. Big thing right now is I'm starting a new company that is a social media advertising company called Post, and it builds off of what I've learned with my triathlon channel. And we do social media advertising and video content production for companies in Winnipeg, and then we manage their social media presence online. So besides Triathlon Taren, like, that is about it. I also love dogs. Dogs are pretty cool. We've got 2 dogs at home. We've got an office dog here right now named Charlie. So besides Triathlon Taren, new business, my wife Kim, who makes an appearance in several videos saying that she hates me. Dogs. That's about it. Favorite food? Anything. Anything. I'm going to make sure that I'm not messing this up. No messages that I'm messing it up. Do you use any supplements, protein or just the carbs? I use a little bit of protein powder in my shake. After a really hard workout that's going an hour and a half, 2 hours plus, I tend to have a shake, a really big shake with lots and lots of stuff in it, because that liquefied form is really easy for your stomach to digest and start repairing your body very quickly. So I'll use I think it's a pea-based protein. That's actually pretty tough to say. But a pea-based protein. Oh man, we got questions coming in. A pea-based protein to help get those protein levels up really easily. I'm not vegan, but I eat a lot of vegan meals. If we're at home, about 85-90% of our meals are going to be kind of vegan-based, just because there's a lot of heart disease in my family. I try to cut out meat when it's convenient for us. So I make sure that I supplement with iron, vitamin C, a multivitamin, a probiotic, and omega. Whichever omega that people who don't eat meat have, one of those. But I don't get anal about it. Like if I run out, sometimes I'll go a month or two without having them. So I don't rely on supplements, but I add them in at times. Okay, let's go through. So Yancy Yannick answered lots of your questions, buddy. Good on you. These are good ones. What's the best way to self-coach yourself to the top of your age group if you don't have access to a triathlon coach or training group? Same way I did. I don't actually have a regular coach. My training partner is a coach, and we'll bounce ideas off of each other, but I don't actually use him regularly as a coach. Kind of just use his services for free because he's a really nice guy. But I just absorbed a lot of what was on YouTube and Triathlon magazine, as much info as I could possibly get, and I pieced it together into training plans and then made note of my body, how I was adapting, if I was getting faster, if I needed more rest, less rest. Just kind of monitored how I felt based off of what all those general recommendations were. And after a few years, I got the hang of what my body responds to really well, and then I'll develop plans based off of that. Tell us about your new job. Already did. It's very exciting. Why did I go solo? Not actually solo. There are 3 other people that came with me who are awesomely talented videographers, and they came. So not solo. I ended up buying the division from a company called Mobile Nations, which I managed their social media up until the end of August. So I bought out that division, and we took all the camera gear, all the laptops, all the computers, the sound equipment, the video equipment, all of that. They're our #1 client. And then the idea is to go and get about 9 or 10 more that are like them, because I've always had entrepreneurial wishes, wanted to start my own company, and this was an opportunity to do it. So yeah, very, very exciting times. Curtis York, do I do any other sport? As I mentioned, I used to curl professionally. Actually got to the 15th ranked team in the world curling, so I was a much better curler than I ever will be a triathlete, but I don't do that anymore. Aniaria 64, what to wear, eat, drink, carry in your first Ironman? Holy smokes, that is a big question. This is something that I want to pick your brains about. I'm building my website at triathlontaren.com slowly, working on it today actually, and you can see it's a bit of a mess. But I want to create a big guide for everything that you need, basically like your complete beginner triathlon checklist for each distance. Let me know if that's something that you'd want and what you'd want to know about it, because it would take a lot of time to answer that question, but if I can build one big guide, I think that might be a better idea. Try Guy says just search the Try Guy on YouTube. If you missed that, he's got a pretty kick-ass YouTube channel that's growing really quickly. So check him out. Go subscribe. It's a good guy. When did I start? I started triathlon about 6 years ago at not being able to run to the end of the block. And I started by running the length of 2 houses, and then I would walk 2 houses, and then I would run 2 houses, and then I would walk 2 houses. So I started with that. I was not at all a very natural endurance athlete. Which triathlon is your A race? It's over. This year it was the Duluth Superior Man Half Ironman, and I did that 2 weekends ago. That was a pretty awesome day. That was a lot of fun. That race was only 350 people, but they made it an absolute logistical wonder. It was through the downtown of the city. They shut off intersections, had police escorts around. Really, really nice course. I trained for nothing but that. That was my first half Ironman, and I did 4:46:46. I went down there with my training partners, Pat Peacock, who placed third at 4:14, and Nicole Walker, who you've seen in the Hub video. She's the North American Ironman age group champion right now, and she's awesome. She killed the course record by 18 minutes going 4:45. So they made me look like a chump coming in at 4:46. How often do I get injured? Probably about twice a year. I always have a chronic injury in my right hamstring muscle belly, like right in the meat of the hamstring. I've tried acupuncture, physiotherapy, foam rolling, massage, chiropractor. Nobody has been able to figure it out. I've got a twisted pelvis from an old injury that I had as a kid. That like my pelvis is misaligned by like this much, about an eighth of an inch, and I think that it pulls on my hamstring and creates tension. So I've always got that I've got to worry about. So I just warm up, but I'll usually get 1 or 2 acute injuries that last about 3 or 4 weeks every year. And I just try to train around those. So if let's say this past December, I got injured with a shoulder injury. I still kept training a lot. I just focused on the bike, backed down my swim volume to about a quarter of what it was so that I kept my swim technique, repaired that injury, upped the run and the cycling volume, and then got back into swimming when I was healthy again. Carlos M. Hi from Spain. Hi from Winnipeg. How many competitions do you participate in within a year? Probably about a half a dozen. Not all of them are triathlons. Some of them are just running races or duathlons. How much time do you spend on a race of 5K? I'm a 5K running race. My PB is just under 19 minutes. I'm not lightning fast. So greetings from Norway. Greetings from Norway. Greetings from Winnipeg. What triathlon website do you find helpful? Triathlon websites? I don't know. Triathlon is really scattered all over the internet, and that's why I actually created my YouTube channel, because there are just little pockets of helpful triathlon advice throughout the internet. But there's no one resource that I find is really good online. I think the best is probably Triathlon Magazine, and that's what I subscribe to. But other than that, there are some really good online training programs. Swim Smooth was really good. I'm actually putting together right now an online swim training guide comparing Swim Smooth, Try Swim Coach, and Total Immersion Swimming. And those programs are really good, but as far as like free websites go, it's a bit of a crapshoot. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, that'll help you out. Do I have a favorite race here in the States that you travel to? I went to Tri-Lanai, just off of an island in Maui. That was pretty awesome. I really liked that. And then Duluth. Duluth Superior Man a couple weeks ago. Long distance races. I really enjoyed that half Ironman. Conversation, figure out. How do I stay motivated at the pool? Join a swim squad. Swimming by yourself is like the worst thing in the world. It is so boring. It's so hard to push out hard intervals, hard efforts. The best thing that I ever did was first joining a master swim group, and then from that master do the 1 and 2 hour swims. Yeah, totally join a swim group. Whether it's masters or just a set of buddies that you take over one lane together, do that. Yeah, because it gets... Dylan McCormick, will training help me in other sports like MMA, skate, snow, wake, and lacrosse? I don't know. Depends what goals are in the sports. I find that anytime that you can do one of two things that triathlon is really good for. One is getting used to pushing yourself to a really hard effort. That helps in any other sport because your brain kind of gets used to going through that pain. That's really good for any other sport because those mental barriers in other sports are, in a lot of cases, what will stop you from getting to a next level. So triathlon's really good for that. And then endurance training, just getting your lungs really healthy. If it's MMA, if it's soccer, if it's lacrosse, if all of a sudden you can run for a little bit longer and be less tired, yeah, probably going to help you. J-Ray, you like to train run without a shirt on. Faster. Does it avoid chafing? Are you running slower now that you're wearing a shirt to run in? No, I don't think it allows me to, well, wait. Okay, I'll say that it allows me to run faster on days that it's hot. I am a disgusting bad sweater, so say Celsius in Canada, high 60s, low 70s, I sweat a lot. So anything that I can do to cool myself down, I'll do. So that's why I run and train without a shirt on, because I just tend to overheat. So yeah, it does allow me to train a little bit faster. I just like it because it's more comfortable. Yeah, I don't have chafing issues, anything like that. I just find it like more. Felt good. Felt good. Blake Harris, is Windburn or MTC a better triathlon club in Manitoba? Windburn is a club that's run by my buddy Super Dave Lipshin, and MTC is going for. The MTC Manitoba Training Center, it's like the national training center, so that is high performance. But so is Windburn. Dave has made some really good athletes out of there. The Try Guy, who you see on YouTube and in the comments here, he's part of Windburn. Guy's freaking fast. Which one's better? It just depends on the coaching style that you like. Super Dave at Windburn is very hands-on. MTC, Gary is very hands-off. Super Dave really likes incorporating rest and backing off into training. Gary is more about beating people down. That said, Gary has produced some Olympic athletes like Sarah Bro and Tyler Mislawchuk. But then he's also had a lot of athletes that completely burned out because his volumes are so high. Which is better? I don't know. Do you train with a power meter? I just started. PowerTap sent me some new power pedals, and I've got to do some testing of that, and I've got a video coming up for that. So yeah, getting used to training with a power meter. Philip Stein, is Kona in your future? I really hope so, buddy. It might just be as a vacation though, like too. My wife and I actually went to Kona for our honeymoon, and it is an awesome place. But that said, it's getting so competitive to get in, especially in the early 30s age group when people still have some of their youth fitness, and you get like those ex-runners and ex-cyclists that become really fit in their early 30s. Like you got to go like 9:30 in the 30s. We'll see. I'm going to try. Does swimming with a beard make me slower? I actually think so. When it gets too long, I can feel it going like this. It feels cool. Sean Hannock, do I swim at Pan Am Pool? Yes, I do, when it's not under construction. Do I play video games? No, never got into it. Carlos M, what do I think about trail running? I love trail running. In Winnipeg, though, there is only about one trail that I can go to that is within an hour. I do it a lot. It's a 4K, 5K loop, which I really like, but there's just not that much variety in Winnipeg for trail running. Peter, step Banian Bennett. I'm from Michigan, looking to get an indoor bike trainer for the winter to train for longer races in 2017. There seem to be a lot of opinions out there. Any that you recommend? Thanks. I use the Kurt Kinetic Rock and Roll, and I like it because it takes a little bit of pressure off of your undercarriage. It's got like a little bit of natural sway side to side, so it helps me avoid getting saddle sores. But it's not like amazing. The trainers, the fluid trainers where you take off your back tire and you actually hook your chain into the trainer, those are really good because they're nice and quiet. But those are going up into like $1,000. So if you want to spend that much, they're very good, but they're very pricey. I like the Rock and Roll because it's good. It's got some power options that you can use. It's really buggy though for getting those power options to sync to your phone or your iPad. I don't know, it just depends how much you want to spend. How much do you want to spend, Peter? Philip Stein, indoor brick training versus outdoor brick training. Well, there's two different answers to that. Indoor brick training is really good if you want to do some very, very specific workouts and you want to be at a controlled power pace and you want to maybe even jump between bike, run, bike, run, bike, run. Really good for that. But that said, it's not nearly as accurate as outdoor bike training. The one thing that you get outdoor bike training or outdoor brick training is when you're on the bike, because you're out in the wind and there's a lot more side to side, like your core ends up tiring out a lot more than if you're on a trainer. And your core strength is a big determinant of how well you're going to do out on the run. So there's nothing like race simulation as close as you can get to a race to see how you're going to do in a race, because you know your speed, you know how your bike's going to feel. Like it's race simulation. So I would say that in the winter, in the off season, indoor is really good because you can do some very specific training. But once you start getting close to a race, you want it to be as close to that race effort as you can possibly get. Antonio Alves, do you plan to cover a triathlon as a reporter? You have good communication, it could be fun. Hi from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Hi from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I kind of do cover triathlon as a reporter. That said, I don't really have a big desire to cover news. News to me is like a commodity. It's like anyone can cover news. And for me to just be another person that's in the mix of covering news, I'll cover the big stuff like World Championships and Olympics, but just covering the day-to-day news, I don't know, it seems like kind of a treadmill that I'm just regurgitating what happened out in the world. I would rather come up with unique content and put together videos on something that will be viewed and watched and loved by people 3 years from now. So that's today. So I don't really like getting on that treadmill. Nicholas Bull, tri-bike worth the investment for first half Ironman? Yes. That said, if it's your first half Ironman and you're not sure if you're going to stick in the sport, go with something that's really, really entry level, like something used ideally. Don't buy something new and entry level because it's going to depreciate really quickly. I actually did a video on how to buy your first triathlon bike. Go take a look at that. That'll kind of tell you the progression of what bikes you should do. Chris, cool smart trainer, much cheaper than the Wahoo, still goes up to 1200 watts. The Be Cool Smart Trainer. I like the name of that. I'd get that just for the name. Clark S, do you have a road bike in addition to a tri-bike? Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. I have like a new child at home. It is a brand new 2016 Cervelo S5 with Alto cycling wheels that you're going to see me do a review on soon. It's got power tap, P1 power pedals, a Garmin 520 cycling computer. Like, oh my God, I love this thing so much. I got it about 7 weeks ago, right before I started getting heavy into the time trial position for the half Ironman. So I've maybe only got about 15, 16 rides on the S5, but oh man, oh, it's so nice. I actually do most of my riding on a road bike. The benefit to it is it's just more comfortable, and to go and put in those like 100, 120, 150K rides, I'd rather be comfortable, and you're still going to get that benefit of going for hours on end. Even if you're not in the tri position, it still is going to make your heart a lot healthier. So I only start incorporating a lot of TT bike training once I start getting closer to race season and I want to get really specific. Dylan McCormick, I think I might train for a try, see if I like it. Is a mountain bike good? Getting back to that video about how to approach bike buying in triathlon, yeah. For your first race, just use whatever. Seriously, just like use whatever. I made the big mistake of thinking that I had to buy a bike. So you're not really going to get much for a triathlon bike as an entry-level price on it. Because I got a brand new entry-level road bike, it depreciated so quickly, and then nobody wanted to buy it because it was too entry-level. All the components were cheap, everything was cheap. What I would recommend is getting something even cheaper that's ideally used, that the depreciation has already happened, and then once you know you're definitely going to be in the sport, then buy your road bike that's like road bike or tri bike that's $3,000-4,000. Are rollers a viable alternative to a trainer? Yeah, very much. Couple things about rollers. One, you really got to pay attention to the rollers because like you actually have to balance a lot, way more than if you're on the road. So a lot of people will put rollers in the middle of a doorway so that if you roll side to side, you can bounce off the doorway. It's harder to stand up. I've never used rollers, but the guys that do use rollers tend to use them for those really long, like 3-4 hour rides because it's just a little bit better being locked in place, which feels like you're sitting on a 2x4 in between your legs. That's not fun. Do I ever ride near Sanford, Manitoba? Oh man, a lot. If you ever see a guy in a white and green and black Trek, that's one of my training partners. That's Chris. And we do the Sanford ride a lot. He loves it because it's only 50K. I'm not a fan because it's super windy all the time. But yeah, we do that ride a lot. Have you ever heard about Lanzarote Ironman, Carlos? Yes, I have. S. Randall, does the beard slow you down in the water? Yeah, I'm pretty convinced it does. It's the price you pay for beauty, man. It's the price you pay. Maybe it's a lady. Sorry if S. Randall is. Do you think an aero road bike with tri bars is comparable to a tri bike? Yes. From an aerodynamic standpoint, it's pretty close from a body position standpoint. What a road bike is going to do that a tri bike won't is, like, if these are your hips, a road bike is going to close up that angle on your hips, and it's not going to burn out your quads. So why that's a big issue is because you need to be as symmetrical as possible when you get off the bike and go onto the run. And if you have either your quads or your hamstrings that are burned out one more than the other, you're going to get off and one is going to be really tired, the other one's going to be fresh, and it creates an imbalance, and that's how you cramp up. So yeah, from an aerodynamic standpoint, you can get really close on a road bike to what you would do on a TT bike, but it's not ideal. But that said, like, if If you're just starting out, still go with it. Just know that you've got to set it up differently and that you're not going to be in an ideal situation. Dan Nas. Dan, buddy. It's like my #1 commenter. Cheers from London, Taren. Cheers from Winnipeg, Dan. Good to see you live streaming. Hope everything is great with you. Hello to everyone watching. Yeah. Props, man. Props. Thanks for getting in the comments of every video, Dan. I really appreciate that, everyone. What is my favorite electrolyte drink? My favorite electrolyte drink is #1, Scratch, because it's easier to get. And in general, it's very, very clean. It's very natural. It's got just enough carbs that it helps absorb the electrolytes. Anytime that you're taking just electrolytes without carbs, your body's going to have a harder time absorbing those electrolytes. So having some carbs mixed in with the electrolyte drink alongside the electrolyte together, you absorb them really easily. So I like Scratch because it's a go-to. You're never going to go wrong with Scratch. A couple of the ones that I really do like though, for super crazy hot days, you should try SOS Rehydrate. This is actually based off of an oral, what do they call it? It's like an oral, like if people are dehydrated in Africa and they need an injection and an IV, oral IV, there we go. It's an oral IV for people that you can't actually, they're so dehydrated that you can't get an IV into their veins to rehydrate them with an IV bag. And I really like this for crazy hot days. So try SOS Rehydrate. It's really good if you've got super hot days, if you've got a tough time digesting electrolytes, if you're a really salty sweater like me. Yeah, that's very good. I also like Osmo, but it seems like they're shutting down. Osmo is basically exactly like Scratch. I really liked it. Tastes good. I like the blackberry, but it seems like they're going away. Road bike versus tri bike? No, no. There are very few road bikes that can get your hips as open on the bike as a triathlon bike can. You can get pretty close, but you can't get quite there. And it's about 2 or 3 degrees that your hips are still going to be a little bit more closed always. Matthew Scorino, who's your favorite? One of my favorite athletes is actually my buddy Ryan Fry. He's the 3rd on the Olympic gold medalist curling team. Yeah, he's pretty cool. We grew up together, and that is a guy that determination and just 100% focus on one goal can achieve anything. Like seeing how he basically put away, he moved away from family, he gave up jobs entirely for his sport. He went through loss after loss after loss, but eventually got a little bit better and a little bit better, and on a more and more successful team, got dumped from teams, got picked back up, but he kept going on to get to the top of the sport, and he became the Olympic gold medalist. And to see that guy go through all those struggles for, I think, about 20 years and constantly get a little bit better and a little bit better and be so focused on his goal and then eventually achieve it, that was awesome. Like, that was tears in my eyes kind of stuff. Favorite triathlete? That might be what you're asking. I like Javier Gomez. He's short like me, he's stocky like me, and he steps up years while he's still got this ITU speed. Like, holy smokes, I think he's going to destroy Jan Frodeno, if he does. What else? What else? What do we got? Randall? Srandall? Serious question. Tips for keeping motivating training over the winter. It's hard. It's so hard. The best thing I've done to keep motivated and keep me going is to get a training group. I don't use a triathlon team. It's a group of friends that we all have fairly similar goals and we're a fairly similar speed. And incorporating that social aspect along with some competition, it makes it more fun. It makes it less about just about hanging. Blake, where's the kind of guy with all my new tricks? Along the top personally or just in general? I know both. Do I have kids? No, no kids. I got 2 dogs. No kids right now. Dan Nas. All right, first question. I owe this one to you, Dan. For the amount of comments that you give in the videos, you're getting your question answered. Let me shoot my first question. I've got 4 more weeks to Amsterdam Marathon this weekend. Hot damn, man. Because it really find that what I'm lacking by training for triathlon and then going into marathons or half marathons is that the depth in running at the long distances. So I find that I've got speed, I've got good race speed, but to race a half marathon at race effort for 21K, those last 3K end up being really tough. So, the unfortunate thing is that the only way that you get that depth is by doing tons and tons of volume for a lot of months. And if you're a month away, could be a little bit too late. I don't know, you can shoot, do my best to. Do you have a nutrition guide that you use for what you eat and the off season? How many carbs, how much protein, how much fat? I used to actually really follow this. How do you blend and also work at the same time? And training, just early mornings. I get up at 4:40 a.m. every morning, and that's how I get it done. How do I incorporate strength conditioning workouts in a training plan without sacrificing mileage? I always feel destroyed after the gym, need to go easy the next 2 days. I did, I think I've commented about this in a couple of videos. I recommend that you do your strength training in the off season when it's not so critical to get in volume. And that's how I do it. If you beat yourself up and you miss a little bit of volume because top of race season, you're going to burn yourself out because you're going to be so beat up, you're going to be toasted, and your body's not going to be able to burn the candle at both ends. So you can do a little bit of strength training in the off season, gradually taper that off so that the intensity of the strength training is a lot less come race season. How do you find the right balance for the strength training? You just got to figure it out. You got to feel it out, see what works for you. Clark, anything you can do to help support the videos and keep them coming? Keep watching. Keep watching, subscribe. Sharing really helps. Sharing is huge. And I'm working right now to try to build a website, consume content on the website. There's nothing in the works right now that is ever going to be paid in the foreseeable future. But there's going to be a lot of affiliate links on the website. There's going to be lots of guides on the website that link out to other people's paid stuff. And the affiliate links are how you can support. Yeah, what I'm trying to do with these guides is actually make them like so valuable that when you read the guides, you look at it and think, man, I really want to support Taren because this guide taught me a lot. And if you click through those affiliates, but on the other hand, if the guide sucks, tell me that too, because I don't ever want to put out crap that I'm hoping to make money and support this business and my family off of, and meanwhile I'm putting out junk. So, I mean, don't troll me, don't be nasty about it, but I mean, you can always contact me and be like, hey man, can you build this out a little bit better if there's areas that I miss? I want it to be good enough that it's worth paying for, but make it free. 4:40 a.m. Yeah. Takes a while to get used to. After about 3 months, it gets a little more bearable, but the first few months is tough. All right, comments are slowing down here. A pulsometer, if you mean a heart rate monitor, yes, I use that for training. Thanks. Watch tomorrow for the replay. All right, I'm going to give it a minute here. If anyone else has any questions, get it in really quickly. Otherwise, we're going to call this a very first YouTube Live. 2, 1. Oh, Dan. Love your tri knowledge and the way you share it and present it. Great speaking skills. Already suggested you should become a tri commentator. I don't think they'll like my poop jokes. I really don't. I think that they're hilarious. The world might disagree. But yeah, thanks everyone. Who's winning Kona? I did an entire for watching and supporting the channel. Means a lot to me. This interaction makes it very, very fun because there is that wall that's a computer screen in between us, and anytime that we can get together and talk like this and meet, it's really neat. So thanks, and comment, follow. It's nice to interact with you. Thank you. I like poop jokes too. Good. Do a Winnipeg meetup down the road. I'm in. Thanks for the first live feed. See you, everyone. How do I stop this?